If you're the adult survivor of toxic parents, toxic caregivers, this video is for you. This is number 3 in a series that you asked for, and that a lot of my clients in coaching and my group mentoring program have been dealing with, is the remnants of that childhood trauma showing up now. And what we know to be true about trauma is that trauma distorts our perceptions of what's happening in our current experience, and it blocks our ability to connect and relate to the world around us. And so if you're here, you made it. You found Kundalini Yoga, you found this channel some way, somehow, and that means that you're deliberately looking for resources. And I just want to give you a big hug for that, because it's not easy. As a child, you didn't have a lot of choices, but now as an adult, in your teens, in your 20s, 30s, 40s, and beyond, you have a choice to either stay asleep, continue those old patterns, be in those environments, or you can choose to heal yourself, grow yourself, and shift what you were exposed to as a child. And so if you're here, you're probably part of that very precious group of people who wants to do it differently and who wants to make an opportunity for the next generation, and just to be able to live peacefully and tap into joy. So I get it. I'm so glad you're here. My name is Salimah, yoga therapist, and Kundalini Yoga is the vehicle that we're going to use to talk about how to recover yourself. And this is going to be, it's a video. I'm going to offer you a meditation at the end that you can use to build some consistency and a way to harness your nervous system so that you can start to let go of stuff. And hang on to that. Hang on, because that's coming at the end. I want to give you 4 or 5 different techniques that you can use right now to start to address all the things that happened to you. And so let's just dive in, okay? And number 1 is childhood is formative. Yay, okay? So childhood is formative, and that time in your life shaped who you are now. And we know that to be true. We know that all of the things that we experience, we also chose. We chose that on a soul level. And I know this is really hard to experience and hard to take in, but there's something about what you needed to learn that was only going to come from the circumstances that your soul chose. And again, that could have been to stay and to continue on certain patterns, or to create a new trajectory for yourself. And so you might just be the cycle breaker. You might just be the person who is here to shift the narrative, to give the next generation a new opportunity to make a break from all the patterns that have been sent down generationally. Because as much as there are generational wounds and traumas, there are also generational gifts. And you have adopted the generational gift of transformation, of change, of curiosity, of figuring out how to live with integrity, to figure out how to navigate your nervous system, to rebuild your memories. And that's very powerful. Okay, so number 1, congratulations, you made it. And the journey is ongoing. You're going to see patterns, and sometimes you're going to be right up close to the pattern. Sometimes you're going to be in the trajectory of somebody else going through it. And every single time that you come through that life lesson, you're going to have an opportunity to do it differently. And that's where things start to shift and change. Okay, so if you see cycles repeating, please know that that's part of it, part of bringing conscious awareness to what has happened and how you want to show up differently. Number 2 is to reclaim your experience. That didn't all happen to you. The question I asked in my first video in this series is, what did you learn? What did you learn from this experience of your caregivers, of the environment in your school, of the family that you were raised in? What did you learn? What were those foundational messages that you picked up? And are they resonating with who you are? You don't just have to propagate the same ideas. What are those lessons? And claim them for yourselves. This is what I learned. I learned that I needed to take care of myself. I learned that relying on other people didn't necessarily bring me security. And so I learned how to do that for myself. And that's powerful. Yes, we can say, all right, it ended up into hyper-vigilance or hyper-independence, and you figured it out. At probably a really young age, you figured it out. And that's powerful. Not a lot of people know how to live independently or make independent decisions or are willing to go it alone or be solo in their lives. And so good for you. So good for you to name it, label it, and love it. Okay, so we're not just looking at the lesson and saying, okay, I did that, but to love that, to love what it gave you. It wasn't all bad. Meaning what you turned it into was not all bad. It might have been all super shit, but who you turned out to be, there is hope. So that's number 2. Number 3, are there memories that surface for you, or do you have a blank canvas? Are there things that you can't remember? And it might be time, if you're interested, if you're willing, to go and seek out some people who might have been witness to what was happening, who might be able to fill in some blanks. Maybe it's a neighbor, maybe it's a therapist, maybe there's other practices like EMDR or brain spotting or talk therapy or Kundalini yoga. You can hang out here and do tons and tons of practices. I'll introduce you to one at the end of this video to start to tap into the wisdom of your body. And as you tap into the wisdom of your body, you'll be able to understand what happened or where you might have collapsed memories to keep yourself safe, or where you had blanks. You may be able to open up a little bit more perspective, and maybe not the memories themselves. You could potentially open up an age. Maybe it's age 6, maybe it's age 12. Maybe there's something in there that you can start to develop. You could, here's another suggestion, you could find one memory and see what comes before that and before that and before that, or you can take that same memory and see what comes after that. This will require a little bit of work, a little bit of patience, and I always suggest that you use your meditation practices as a way to dial everything down so that you can access those places. I think they will serve you. And remember to have support as you go along the way. There are really great therapists out there. I can offer you yoga therapy. There's so many different places where you can tap in and start to unravel what's happened, and do that with support. The 4th one is about consistency. Maybe in your childhood there was a lot of chaos. Maybe there weren't developed foundations of routines and rituals in your life. And so that makes it really hard to take care of yourself, to eat on time, to drink water on time, to have a physical practice, to do something on a daily basis that feels good for you and that you know you're contributing to the greater good. And so that's another piece that you can start to lean into. And if you made it here, Kundalini yoga is an incredible way to do that, because accountability and structure and mentorship is what this channel is all about. And when you find a practice that really speaks to you, you will know that. You'll have that ginger ale moment like, here is the remedy I've been waiting for. And that remedy could be a very simple breathing technique. It could be a 30-minute practice. It could be a 60-minute practice. It could be something simple that you do on the weekends, but something that you can do consistently that will allow you to build a rhythm back into your body in order for your nervous system to start revealing itself to you. remember that your nervous system wants to keep you safe. And so if expanding into places that don't feel safe is not available, then we have to put the structure in place in order for that information to come through. Okay? So those are 5 different ways that you can start to explore with Kundalini Yoga, and different techniques that you can start to think about as you go through this journey of acknowledging who was in your childhood, what were the influences, and how you can carve out a path for yourself. So here is the meditation to release inner childhood anger. Now, let's broaden that a little bit. That's the title, but let's broaden that a little bit, because I think childhood is one chapter, and then our teenage years is a whole other chapter. And so if there were controlling factors around you as a child, that's one element, because as children, we don't have the capacity to provide for ourselves or make choices around what's the right food to eat or any of those kind of things. But as teenagers, as we walk into wanting more independence, carving out our own identity, if there were control factors there, and you wanted to express about your sexuality or your gender or your curiosity about the world, or pursue work, different kinds of working experiences, and those were limited because of control factors or toxic folks or addictions that were happening in your family, then we have an angry teenager that we have to deal with. And that angry teenager may be showing up in lots of different ways. And so let's dedicate this practice to that part of us, all of us, that had some rebellion in them and wasn't fully allowed to express that, okay? Super simple, might hurt a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna take these 2 fingers, so the baby finger and the middle finger, we're gonna bring them down. Sorry, baby finger and ring finger, we're gonna bring those down. And we're gonna bring the index finger and the middle finger together, peace fingers together, okay? And then take this mudra and extend it all the way out. So your fingers are pointing in opposite directions, so the fingers are pointing straight out, and your palms are turning towards the screen here in front of you. Now close your eyes, and we're going to use a breathing technique. We're here for 3 minutes, okay? So we're going to inhale through the closed teeth, and then exhale through the nose. Exhale. Inhale mouth through the closed teeth. And exhale. Focusing the breath. Last two. Last one. And relax your arms down. Take a moment, sit quietly, release your fingers. Keep your eyes closed. Notice your experience. Notice what emotions are coming up. Notice what experiences you were shown. Good. Amazing. You did it. Now, you may find yourself in an emotional place right now. Or maybe you feel neutral. Maybe you feel numb. That's okay. Here's a little added bonus. Go to the mirror right now. Put your hands on your heart. And speak to that amazing, emerging teenager. Tell them how you feel. Ask them to talk to you. And then, as the adult that you are, comfort them. Be the person who you didn't have. Be that person. Be that person. And then, if you need more support, there are links in my description below. We can do one-on-one coaching. We can do group mentoring. And all the links are below because you don't have to do it alone. You came through alone, but now's not the time to be alone. So if one of those grabs your attention, amazing. If you want to send me an email and contact me, you can do that through my website, YogaVision.com. Let me know how you experienced this video. Do you want more like this? Did it help? Did you learn something that you didn't know before? All of those comments help. And if you'd like to share this with somebody or pass on the knowledge, that would be amazing, because then we all have the benefit of this shared wisdom. And then come back for more. Figure out what you want to work on. Scan through all the videos here on this channel and start. And do yourself the justice, the self-justice, to pick one and commit to it. Do it one day at a time, maybe 10 days, maybe 40 days, maybe longer. And do that so that you can rebuild, because you're worth it. You really are. Lots of love. My name is Salimah, yoga therapist. I'll be back with more. Bye for now.